for several years. We became good friends because of politics, and our friendship has stood the test of times. My good friend, once again, he will be the parliamentary representative for the constituency of St. James Central, Kerri Symmonds.
Introduction too long, you know, because the lyrics real sweet. It tell you he's always there for the people in St. James Central, and go along and on and on. We can play it properly though. How are you feeling, people? When are gonna change the government? God bless you for that. Did you hear today? I heard that somebody tell me that Fumble Store actually said that the Democratic Labour Party's campaign was off to a smooth start. Did you hear him say that? Ain't he lying? Did they put up posters of a dead man? When election called, their posters were still in a warehouse in Miami. They put up a poster of a man underneath it marked, I will not lie, nor cheat, nor steal. You know, you could have done a PhD thesis in all three. I want to tell you that they are in a state of confusion, but we must not be sidetracked with that. That is their headache. We have, during the next few days, to launch that which is the first phase of this campaign. We have to make sure that you're intimately aware, every one of you, with the nastiness and, yes, the whatlessness that was passing for governance in Barbados during the last 5 years. And when you understand the sordid details of that which has been an excuse for governance, it is then and only then that we can move to the second phase and tell you how we can solve this thing, because this is a mission to rescue a whole country, man. It is a mission not to return Labour Party to office, but to rescue Barbados. And one of the ironies of this campaign is that Fumble Store, of all people, that political Lilliputian, that lazy, indolent, idle, a man who anywhere else in the world would have been minister of laziness. He wants to make leadership in Barbados an issue. Well, Fumble, if that's where we want to go, we can talk about leadership tonight. Because he invited Sam Pooch and Dapi to come down here on this spot last Wednesday night. And Fumble said he was having a report to the nation, if you please. And if anybody had asked me, Kerri, what you feel that Fumble can talk about, I would have started by saying, well, to me, first thing he would go to talk about is the fact that his finance minister, 2.5 months ago, told you that he is now borrowing money to pay 7,000 public servants that they cannot afford to pay. And so I would have imagined that the report to the nation from the Prime Minister of Barbados would have begun by saying, look, we are now borrowing to pay 7,000 public servants and borrowing $7 million a month to pay them, which means that $84 million is being committed to borrowing to pay staff in the public service. That is something of magnitude that a Prime Minister will want to explain and tell us about the arithmetic, the mathematical computations that can be done to make you and I accept that that is feasible and sustainable. Not Fumble. Not he. I would have thought that he would have come and reported to you about the fact that the International Monetary Fund and Moody's and Standard & Poor's and the World Bank are so fed up with the economic crisis in Barbados that they have demanded on them to produce in writing a fiscal strategy which will allow us to understand how the Democratic Labour Party, if kept in office, would walk Barbados out of the difficulty. And that fiscal strategy, Fumble Short should have told you about. He should have told you what it is first of all. That it is essentially a document outlining certain targets and the strategies by which you're going to get to reach those targets to reduce expenditure in Barbados by the government. That is what they have been demanded to do, and that is what they have agreed to do. But Fumble Short didn't tell you that. But you need to know tonight, because you won't get it on DLP TV. You haven't heard it from your Prime Minister. So you're going to hear it from here. That tonight, the Democratic Labour Party has committed you to having to undergo painful cuts to the tune of $150 million in public expenditure if returned to office, beginning from the 1st of April of this year. And why? Because they were supposed to be doing cuts at $75 million a year. They did not do any in this financial year because Chris Sinclair decided that it was more important to look out for the economic, the political fortunes of the Democratic Labour Party and to superimpose those above the economic recovery of Barbados. So no money ain't get, no expenses ain't get hold back this year, look out all. But next year, no, you're going to make up for not doing anything this year. You understand that? Man, I wouldn't sleep in. You understand that? So it's $75 million that ain't get touched this year is now to go on top of the $75 million that committed to next year. So you and you, all of a backside water line with licks, $150 million in cuts are waiting for you if you ever saw a grunt as to put the Democratic Labour Party back in government again. Now, I would have thought that Fumble Short would have come here and talked to his people, as a Prime Minister should, about these things. Not Fumble. Fumble came here, and then we talked about. He talked about how long or after to sit down in the seat in Parliament before he leaves on a Tuesday. As if a man of the intellect of Oinafa could remain sane in Parliament Tuesday after painful Tuesday, listening to a stable of brain political jackasses like Kenny Bess and Donville Innes. Oh, good God, man. And Patrick Todd. And George Hudson. And he talks about how often this is his report to the people after 5 painful years of government. But not for he, because it was joyous for him. He talked, this is his report. Me and Motley like to hear her name on the 12:30 news. Ronald Toppin has not grown satisfied and accepted that he is in opposition. Well, which politician goes into politics only to be in opposition? But the one that caught my interest is when he said he is reporting that George Payne may like him more than he liked Oinafa. When I'm making sport, this thing. And may I tell you, that is a fact. He got here and talked about that. But what concerns me is why would any man who is a whole man, a real man, be concerned about whether another man, like a third man, more than he like he. And this is not the first time that Fumble has gone down that curious route. I was in St. John in the by-election when Fumble Short declared that he wondered if Oinafa is lonely at night. If he has companionship. And to make it worse, last Wednesday night, he turned around and said that he wants somebody to send a message to an alpha that he, Fumble, is a dangerous animal. Now, I know one thing about animals. They like to use the mouth. And when alpha, I consider you to be a friend. I will tell you, there's a self-confessed predator on the loose. Watch your back, star. It might want to put its mouth and other things on you. It's a serious thing when I come here to behave bad. Y'all are naughty people. But comrades, I feel that a political leader of a country should be taken at his word. And if he's saying to you, in the depth of that which they themselves tell you is the worst recession of all time, you don't think that your prime minister should take you seriously enough to come here and speak to you about substance? He even went so far as to talk about how often William Duguay goes to get a snack from the members' room. That's a fact. I am not telling any lies on Farmer's Short. He talked all of that crap. And I take it personally for another reason, which is perhaps a little bit more delicate. But I feel that I got to take a man who is in leadership at his word. I will tell you frankly, it's a delicate matter. I shouldn't discuss certain things, but I can beg you to forgive me. Because one day I was in the bathroom at Parliament, and the door pushed. And in walked Mr. Fumble. When I perceived what I apprehended to be his prying eyes, I did a body shift. And he says, but Kerri Symmonds, why are you being so standoffish? I put the implement away and fastened it securely. And I told him, Farmer's Short, for 3 reasons. 1, you like talking a lot of foolishness about how you want to wake up a sleeping giant, and he ain't got none of this giant here waking up nowhere around you. Reason number 2, you said that when you wake up a sleeping giant, you want to wrestle with the beast at Ephesus. This beast ain't wrestling nowhere around you. And number 3, you said that when all of that done, you want to make the head roll. And Lord have mercy, I can't get in that there with you. So I take this thing about a man at his word very seriously on a personal level. Not just politics now. Y'all are very unruly. But we have serious issues that have to be dealt with. That man should have come here and told you about what they're doing to you and to your children and your children's future at the University of the West Indies. Why has the Prime Minister of Barbados not broken peace and parted his lips to speak on what has happened at UWI? In August of last year, I stood on a platform in Gregory Nichols' constituency, and I said to you all that the debt the government had and the owe to UE, and we're not paying to UE, was $103 million. I had previously the same week said it in the Senate, and Velma Newton, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Law, had confirmed in the Senate that it was true. That was in August. You know, Maxine McLean knows very little about anything, but has to posture as though she knows a lot about everything. And she jumped up and she said as follows, that can't be true. I do not know how much the government owes. I can't tell you how much the government owes, but I know for a fact that it can't be $103 million. I asked then, as I ask you now, what is it about Barbadian hospitality that allows for maximum levels of ignorance in high places to be acceptable? Because if you do not know how much you owe, how can you know for certain what you do not owe? Huh? But somewhere Maxine had that made sense. And not to be outdone, Chris Sinclair said they don't know none at all. Well, you would have seen in this Anderson that the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies is saying to you on Sunday, they're going to the Barbados Labour Party. But your Prime Minister would not open his mouth to tell you that they have hamstrung UWI Cave Hill to the tune of $150 million. And the university is being placed in danger of a qualified audit, attracting system-wide failure. What is the future of the young people in Barbados? Why is it that you have a whole week of a campaign and these reprobate reptiles loitering in government office will not speak to you about issues of this magnitude? This is a calamity. What is the future of the University of the West Indies supposed to be if they bankrupt the institution? Or why do you hear from it only from this platform? Why is there a conspiracy of silence? And you need to know as well that for the last 12 months or so, UWI has not been given money to pay staff. You need to know that. You need to know that UE is now forced to borrow from its sister campus in Trinidad to pay staff. And that this wage bill on the Cave Hill campus is $7 million a month, but that they get $1 million from your government, and every month you're rolling over a $6 million debt. Now, not a word through August, not a word through July, September, October, November, because the government don't want to talk about that. But where is the money to come from? These are the issues that stand to threaten and compromise our very futures. These are the issues that threaten our survival and the ability of Barbados and Barbadians to pull ourselves out of this recession. It has to be an effort that is led by people who have been schooled and trained and continue, as many of you do, at adult years, leaving your workplaces to go and do evening courses to advance yourselves to make this place a more competitive society. And the Minister of Education that you're begging me to talk about has been silent too. But I ignored him on purpose because he is a failure as a Minister of Education. It is not the first time he failed. Fumble Stewart had confidence in him and he failed Fumble Stewart as a potential deputy. He failed as a member of parliament. He even failed God Almighty because God intended him to be a whole man. So don't worry about Jones. Let us not go there. Let us speak the language of what is the future of Barbados, ladies and gentlemen. And it's all right for us to stop. Y'all making sport serious things here. It is all right for us to have nice rhythmic, catchy slogans, things dread, we vote in red and so on. But this election is about looking at these issues. You need to know as well. I mean, and this government is doing some ignorance to you and you don't even know. You need to know that right up there in Forest Square, and we can go to some St. Philip meetings, we can talk, man. That the rum industry in Barbados is being compromised. And that Mr. Obama over there in the United States is subsidizing competition for our rum coming out of St. Croix in Puerto Rico. And that the cost of this, the level of the subsidy that he paying them to produce rum is more than the cost of producing it. So the rum literally is being made for free, but competing against us, which we can't successfully do in the United States market. What is the future of Mount Gay? What is the future of Cockspur? 300 years of Barbadian heritage, and you have an indifferent cabinet. Not one of them has spoken to you about these things. The Trinidad, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, all of them have said, we intend to take the leadership from Barbados, but Barbados ain't often then. And when Owen Arthur was there, you know that this region had leadership. You know that this region did not lack for direction. You know that this region did not lack for assertive intervention. And all the world would have heard, yes, they say in the paper he is sharp-toned. He is sharp-toned when he's confronted with blasted nonsense and it has to be overcome. And as a leader, he has every right to do that. I wish Fumble Short was sharp-toned with the Eager 11 and then he may have overcome them. Clico, I see they got 35 seconds here. You know, poor me, I got to be abiding by the clock. Because left to me, I thought at 12 o'clock tonight. Clico, has Fumble Short broken his mouth to speak to you about anything other than that Leroy Paris is his friend? And that the concerns of 35,000 policyholders in Barbados should be laughed, should be punished with laughter? That's what he said. Leroy Paris is my friend, and all 35,000 of those people who complain, that their soul should be punished with laughter. The arrogance of the man amazes me. Never before has there been a man who is so under-accomplished, demonstrating such large levels of arrogance. Puff up himself in a suit, pull the tie, walk as though he pinching himself. Not for much longer. Ladies and gentlemen, not for much longer. I beg winner, please, don't let it be for much longer. This has to stop. The light is flashing, so I got to stop. I have enjoyed speaking with you. I want to come back and tell you more. We are going to take you into our confidence, share the solutions with you in due course, and I ask you to hold faith with the commitment to change this government and transform Barbados for a brighter and better tomorrow. I done. God bless you.
He is always there for the people in St. James Central. We voted Kerri. Sing the song. We do love Kerri. Look, this man is so dependable. If you find yourself in real trouble, we voted Kerri. We do love Kerri. Kerri Symmonds, a man on a mission.
I have someone lost, it looks like a house key. It has the Trinidad and Tobago flag, the house key, and a little blue thing that I really don't want to touch. Yeah? That DLP